Ever pondered over how estate inheritance works in Israel? Well, let's break it down. Inheritance in essence is the process by which ownership of property and assets is transferred from the deceased to their rightful heirs. Now, the Israeli Succession Law of 1965 is the key legislation that governs inheritance in Israel. This law is quite encompassing, applying to both residents of Israel and non-residents who own property within the country. At its core, the Israeli succession law presumes an equal division of assets among the heirs. That's right, equality is the name of the game here. This means that regardless of who you are, a resident, a non-resident, a son, a daughter, if you're an heir, you stand to inherit an equal share of the estate. But how does this process unfold? Let's delve deeper. The process of estate inheritance in Israel is fairly straightforward. It typically involves three main stages. Let's break it down. Firstly, we have the determination of heirs. This is based on the succession law or a valid will. The succession law stipulates that in absence of a will, the spouse and children are the primary heirs. If there are no children, then the parents are the heirs, and so on. However, if there is a will, the inheritance is distributed according to the deceased's wishes, as long as the will is valid and recognized by the Israeli law. The second stage is obtaining a probate order or succession order from the court. This is an essential step that validates the heirs and their respective shares of the estate. A probate order is required when there's a will, while a succession order is needed when there's no will. To obtain these orders, you'll need to provide several documents to the court, including the death certificate, identification documents of the heirs, and the original will, if there is one. It's important to note that this process can be time-consuming and may require legal assistance. The final stage, the distribution of assets, involves transferring the assets to the heirs and settling any debts or taxes. This means that the heirs will receive their respective shares of the estate, but they are also responsible for any outstanding debts or taxes the deceased may have had. This stage is usually overseen by an executor, who is either appointed in the will or by the court. Throughout these stages, having a lawyer can significantly streamline the process. They can help prepare and submit the necessary documents, represent you in court, and ensure that the distribution of assets is carried out correctly. Remember, every case is unique, and the process can be complex depending on the size and nature of the estate, the number of heirs, and the presence or absence of a will. So, what are the key takeaways about estate inheritance in Israel? Navigating the waters of estate inheritance can be complex, but some key points simplify the journey. Let's start by revisiting the concept of equal division. In Israel, assets are typically divided equally among heirs, unless a will specifies otherwise. This equality is vital to understand as it forms the backbone of most inheritance cases. Next, we delve into legalities. A probate or succession order is often necessary to officially transfer ownership of the inherited assets. This legal document is a must-have, so don't overlook its importance. The role of a lawyer in this process is also crucial. They can guide you through the legal maze, answering your questions, and ensuring all paperwork is correctly filed. Now let's not forget about the possibility of contesting an inheritance. If you believe the division of assets is unjust, you have the right to challenge it. Lastly, be aware of tax implications. Inheritance can come with tax liabilities, so plan accordingly. Remember, understanding your rights and responsibilities is crucial to ensuring a smooth inheritance process.